Hey YouTube, if you want to see a video of how to take apart the front forks on a Supersport 900, stick around. I'm going to be changing out springs, seals for oil seals and dust seals, and you get to see me use this nice, beautiful pit bull front stand. So glad you're here. Hope you stick around. I got this nice set of Icon hex sockets that I really recommend from Harbor Freight. Bring them back broken, no questions asked. They replace them on the spot. Tight. To check torque spec on that and lubricate those threads. Damn. Man, I do not like how that felt. A little scary. Socket looks okay. That's why I like a nice hex socket, because that was really high torque right there. I recommend some large metric hex if you're working on one of these bikes too. On the other side here, there's a hex, and it's, let's see what it is here. Maybe it's 14. Yeah, 14 millimeters. I'll bring the view over here. This is a 1/2-inch drive. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, that thing's spinning. Okay, so I'm turning that side. This is something you got to see. And getting nowhere on this side. When I turn this, the whole thing's spinning. I got to get the, I don't know what they call these, but I got to get these tightened back down, these pinch bolts. So I loosen the pinch bolts on the other side, and then you can turn that bolt, because the head of the bolt is held by the pinch bolts on the other side. On here, it's the nut. There we go. So there's a speedometer cable right here. Why I bought these pit bull stands is because, man, some of the people that ride bikes, they were really like, yeah, just spend the money up front, get the right thing. Look at this. You got bolt holders for your caliper and a caliper holder. Oh my God. I do not like that. Oh man. I gotta check the torque specs on that. Okay. You have to twist it. Yeah, look how dirty this is. This is disgusting. Okay. So there's my caliper holder. I guess you just put the bolt on here. Right there. Okay, that's one of the bolts. I'm actually using a 1/2-inch drive for this because I don't like how, do not like how tight those are. I gotta check that torque spec. This is scaring me. Okay, that's called a knuckle buster right there. Okay, one thing I love is these tees. Get a set of these. Oh man, it never made working on socket head cap screws so nice. All right, so we're gonna rotate this thing. Get the pistons to collapse a little bit. Come on, baby. Man, it's like, I don't know if I'm getting it here. I don't want to go too hard on those brakes. That shouldn't have been a problem, but okay. So I'm going to leave this. Yeah, I got to leave this hanging for a second. I got to get that. Okay, here we go. Now this thing, here just blows me away. This is, I can't even emphasize to you, this is like when you pick up a regular lead acid battery and a lithium ion battery. If you've done that, it's like same thing here. This is just crazy. This is the factory carbon. I think somebody, previous owner, not so wisely spray painted part of it. You can definitely tell that it's original though. So this is just a beautiful part. It has a little number right there. I don't know if you can see that. It says 5-6. It's like handwritten. This is God. Some dude in some old factory in Italy put these numbers on here. There's the numbers. This, folks, is a factory carbon fiber front Fender. The engineer in me that's worked in manufacturing says this is a very nice part right here. 30 years old. This is crazy. Now it's time for the wheel to come out. So I just keep turning this long bolt. If you lift up on it, it turns easier. It's a bolt going across. Okay. Speedometer from the left side of the bike. This is the speedometer gear. That was sitting on the axle right here. And I got to remember that the Dunlop, the little devil horns on the Dunlop face up, as when I'm looking at it, it's right side up. This tire is directional. This is a Super Corsa SP. It's got the SP. It's got the, can't really, gotta wash it off, but it says SP on there. It's a track, kind of a track and street tire. This has got minimal thread. This has got minimal tread. Basically, it's DOT legal, and that's it. Now these caliper holders, now that I'm done jerking around on this thing, I can put the calipers on the caliper holders. Oh, they're so dirty, it's disgusting. So now you can see this leaking fork. This is awful right here. I'm gonna look at this. It's, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't show up as good in the video. No, it does. This right here is disgusting. That's a totally blown out seal. One thing I found is if you put this in a vise and you push on this sucker, you can tell if it's still like fully charged. Oh, that one does not feel as good as this one. Goddamn. That is not good. I mean, it's got a leaking seal, so, but to actually feel it, I don't like it. I'm going to take a measurement from the top of the triple clamp to the fork tube edge. And I've got like 15. Let's see, right where my finger is, there's a bolt right there. I'm going to take that out. This is a better view. This is what holds the top of the fork tube. That's the topper, the upper tree, and there's the lower. I've got the handlebar loose, the clip on. That's what that's called. Gonna put the 6mm. No, it's an 8mm. That's what's holding this sucker. Okay. Okay, got this one. A little bit more. Okay. I'm holding this fork tube up here on top too. Okay. Set that down gently. Here we go. Here she is in all her glory with the, there's the end of it there, with the Missouri 1996 to 1998. Missouri 1996 to 1998 right there. So this thing's been all over the country. I got it in California, and now it's living here in Minnesota with me in Minneapolis. So here we go. I got this one fork out. I'm going to work on changing this fork seal first, and then I'll get to the rest of this thing. But here we go with the calipers held on here. This stand also has an axle holder. And you just take it out, put it back in there, but it keeps it off of the working table. It keeps it off the working surface. Alright, before we clamp this thing up in the vise, I gotta get the oil out of this, and there's a hole in the bottom. There's a bolt that we gotta get at. Not for the oil, but to take the thing apart. The oil can come out right here. I got a Haynes manual, I'll take a look, but I know I got to get this off before it goes in the vise. So you got to be careful with air tools. Man, I really hate this. I kind of marred up the edges of this one. Man, it's such a bummer. So bummed out about that. Put this in the tray. Now this thing, gotta figure out how this comes out of here. It's time to get out the Haynes manual. Lined up on the bottom, on the top. Alright, now let's go this way a little bit. See what happens here. Oh my god. The bolt must be tight. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, there we go. This is the flange goes on the side, the counter bore for the flange. See, this says Showa L Japan. That's what we got here. And with yeah, there's an L there. I don't know, it says 4G on the casting stamped in there. Now in there is a socket head cap screw. All right, so what I want to say here is make sure that you get the top nut loosened on the fork before you take the fork tube out. So I just put it back in here loosely. The handlebar is not hooked up right now, obviously, but I put it in here to clamp down on it. Okay, now I can get this loose, and you have to hold this, and you need to do that very gently. So I've got a 32 millimeter okay. All right. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, it's loose now, so I can hold it by hand. Yeah, you got to be careful hitting on that thing. I got some little witness marks on there. Okay. Okay. So I got this loosened up again. It's never totally loose. Kind of tight, which I guess is good. We want to keep this thing in here when I'm on the road. So I'm twisting this thing with my left hand, pulling it down. Oh, come on. Hitting on a part of the... Okay, I've got the fork back out. Let's talk about clamping this in the vise. There's a round part to the fork, and then there's a square part on the bottom. I've got aluminum soft jaws on this vise, and that is giving me a good secure hold on the flat spot, and it won't mark it up. So here we are. We've got the fork nut, top nut loose. I'm going to spin this by hand, actually. Okay. And I'm ready for the oil. Okay. The O-ring just appeared. This thing is moving down as I'm holding it. Okay. I don't want to lower it too far. I might start losing the oil. So now I'm gonna transfer this over, and I'm gonna pour the oil out of it. Here's my setup to drain the oil out of the fork. I got it hanging upside down by a ratchet strap that you can see just connects up there to the ceiling. I've got the flat ends. I don't want a ball end on this thing. This is... Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay. Right, so check out what we got here, folks. The part that I'm reaching for on the tabletop is the spacer that came off of the spring when I first disassembled it. It was is out of view. There's no room for this with the new spring. The inner diameter of the spring is too small. This has to be removed because the new spring won't fit. See, the old spring clears this, but the new spring doesn't quite clear it. And I talked to Race Tech and they said just take that off of there. This thing is tough to get off. Let's try this. Now we're close. There we go. There's two little O-rings on there. I think I'm just going to leave them. The tricky thing about these old forks is this collar right here can slide on the fork tube, and when you put this is the fork seal installer tool, when you hit this, then this collar slides on here. So I've made this extra collar that bolts on here. I machined it in my shop here, and this will hold this from moving. So I'm just gonna hit this thing. Okay, since I'm ready to start putting oil in this thing, I'm going to take all this stuff out of here. This is the spring tube. Okay, there's the spring. Okay, we're going to do one more check here. And this is for 130. Okay, so I'm a little bit low on oil because I pulled up on that suction and I got nothing. So now I'm going to try it. And I literally just, nope. See that aluminum tube in there that I was using to shield the damper rod holes. That thing took up. Oh, I think we're good here. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Okay, now I'm pulling air. So that's the height I want. Now I'm gonna count how many screw turns there is. Now I've got, this is like a gunsmithing set of flat blade screwdrivers that actually have parallel tips, and they're really, you get just the right size to fit these things. So I want to see how different this is with the screw adjusted. See, it's got, let's see, this would be extension. It's got a lot of dampening on extension, but on compression it just does absolutely nothing. I don't know, I guess there's air pressure inside the shock. But anyways, this is the top adjuster. Okay, so half, oops, we're going to close it. So half, 1.5. So 1.5 turns. Okay, let's see what it's like this. Ooh. What? Can't even move. Alright. There's a half a turn. Bam. Okay, I got that at 1.5. I'm going to leave that at 1.5. Now there's also a screw on the bottom, so I'm gonna zoom out. I'm gonna turn this thing in and see how many we get. Half, 1, 1.5, 1 3/4. Okay, so now we're closed at 1 3/4. So it's gonna come back up here. Now we're gonna see. Okay, I'm pushing on it. Okay, that's closed. Half. One. Two. Okay, so I can't tell what this bottom one's doing. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. All right, now I'm gonna start putting this thing back together. So here's the spring. Get this thing preloaded. Okay, I just had that there temporarily to hold that. So the way this works is, okay, without pulling too fast, you go like that. Now I can put all of this on. First thing that goes on is this plastic retainer that has steps that go into the top of that fork tube. And then that. And then, okay, so we've got 15 millimeters of preload adjust on this. So it's going to, let's see here. See, it goes like that. First thing I gotta do is get this tight. I think that was a 14 and 17. Oh my God. Okay. So that's tight. Now plastic collar, metal washer, and this. And then I got a 17 right here. And then got the 32 right there. Okay. Got that tight. So this spring compressor is holding this thing. See there, that's in there now. So when I let up on this, oops, not that one, wrong one, this one. Okay, so now we've got our 10 millimeter preload. That is what we got. Like that. And then out pulls the pin. That's it.